Welcome to IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. That's Ian Boyd. That's Justin Wells. Appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you've not done so yet, make sure you subscribe to Inside Texas. Use that first link in our description. Use that QR code popping up on the screen right now. Sign up for $1. That'll get you the first week of your access for free. Well, for $1, I guess. You're going to want to stick around, get to be part of the best Texas Longhorns community, get the best Texas Longhorns insight and analysis, recruiting scoop, everything as we get to a pretty fun part of the college football calendar. So $1 for your first week. We know you're going to want to stick around once that first week is done. And gentlemen, got to say welcome to all our different guys. Bobby Petronic, we have a chance if Arkansas forgets to pass. We'll get to that one in a little bit. Ian wrote about that in Bobby Petrino's plans this morning. Jose Casillo, good morning. Chris, thank you. And okay, we got to get to it. Desmond Howard, Joe Blow. And I think there was a moment where Sark paused and he said, Joe. And I think I'm not this self-righteous, but I think he knows that like I'm still there. So I'm curious if he thought about that. But Steve Sarkisian, we'll get right into it. This was the big topic of the day yesterday. Monday, we know that Desmond Howard goes on his Instagram and says, oh, don't be surprised if Texas opens up. And look, I'm not going to say Desmond Howard has zero clue what he's talking about. But Desmond Howard isn't like a newsbreaker. He's not someone who has to be like, I have to vet this. I have to have standard. If he hears something, he'll throw it on an Instagram video. So he talked a little bit about, just, don't be surprised if Texas opens up. Nobody asked about it at his Monday press conference, which I think was a good job by the Texas press corps. And then yesterday on the SEC coaches teleconference, which is usually like a very tame thing. You get radio hosts from all over the South and, some national people usually trying to get like a little bit of like, hey, what's going on? You excited for this? Usually pretty uneventful. Sometimes you may get some news, but you're not going to get anything. 15 minutes after Lane Kiffin tap dances around anything regarding his future at Ole Miss, Sark comes out firing with his opening statement. And I think everybody's read it at this point. I'll put it on screen. But basically, he doesn't leave himself in what we see with all these tech coaching tirades about, okay, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. They usually leave some wiggle room. But Ian, Sark did not leave very much wiggle room here for what he could be called if he does what he said he wasn't going to do.
Why would he do that?
Because he doesn't want to leave. He doesn't really want to leave.
Why do other coaches?
He does that because he doesn't like teams tampering with his current players, telling them that he's about to leave and trying to throw chunk change on them. He doesn't like that.
Why do other coaches stop short of a full denial?
I don't know where you're going, so keep going.
Because they like to leverage their current school for extensions. Sark can't create any real leverage to push Texas to give it. He already got a big extension. The contract is not a deal at Texas.
Yeah.
So there's no benefit to stringing it along. The only benefit is full, firm denial. Now, we'd like to think coaches are as truthful as they have to be. But we've seen Tom Herman lie to a reporter's face before he bolted for Texas. CDC misled, at the very least, everyone with the Tom Herman as our coach. And then fired Tom Herman and replaced him with Steve Sarkisian. I appreciate that this is like as firm and a denial as we've seen, but I still don't take it at face value. Like, why do all these different, I guess it's two reporters. Why do these two college football commentator people both hearing that Sark would be interested in the NFL? Like, why does that keep getting out there?
Yeah. And again, I think a dot you could connect is that Desmond Howard is a CAA person, and CAA is a big entity. But he probably heard like one whisper and was thinking that might be something to throw out. But Justin, I think your point for this team right now was probably the most important aspect of it. Of and I wrote this in like a reaction yesterday. It's like used to you could go on the recruiting trail to a high school prospect's home and be like, oh, don't go there, he's leaving, no, he's retiring. And now that has evolved and mutated even into you can have coaches go through agents and agents tell players he's not staying, you need to leave. And that feels like the main point of this, to protect the roster.
It's being weaponized. And in social media, like 20 years ago, you couldn't do this. It wouldn't have the same sort of emphasis. With social media, Desmond Howard posts a 1-minute video and it becomes a major story that Sark has to deny or has to, answer to. And then you've got, schools in state that'll call, say one of your star defensive players and say, hey, whatever Texas is giving you, I'll add $900K, and then hang up. It's like it's being weaponized against him. And there are other schools that are it's like they're circling him. And the truth is he's trying to protect that locker room. He's trying to protect not only the current players, but the recruits. There's a vibe in DFW that he's leaving, and that hurts recruiting. And you know who pushes that? There are other schools in this state that are pushing that agenda. And so it becomes it becomes something that you have to face and have to deal with and have to answer to and have to talk about. Now, the way Sark did it yesterday was a little unorthodox, a little unexpected, but just understand in this day and age in 2025, college sports it's simply a semi-professional league. And these players are all, in a sense, free agents every other year. And so if there's some negativity coming out of Texas, Sark has to protect the program because that's going to hurt him. That's going to hurt him recruiting. That's going to hurt him retention when they're redoing NIL deals and contracts. And if you've got a guy out in West Texas going, well, just whatever so-and-so is giving you, we'll just give you $900K more. Like you got to defend that. And so that's what Sark's doing right now. I don't think it's anything more than that. I think he's protecting his locker room. I think he's protecting his program. If they're 9-1 or 8-2, I don't think this is a conversation.
You're right. And Justin, this comes from Justin Wales. He's trying to protect the locker room. So he spent 3 weeks, so dating back to the Mississippi State game, ignoring it and refusing to talk to the team about it and saying that's not the case. Like I think
real.
The day the Mississippi State game happened, multiple players after that game said that it was addressed by Sark.
Yeah.
Also, you had the public statement from CAA. Like, I that was addressed.
It was addressed already. So this is not accurate.
Justin Wales, I know you were on the board, and we kind of
we love you.
But I was trying to reiterate that like this.
No, we didn't report that he waited 3 weeks and didn't talk.
Yeah,
to him.
This was a far more sterner reply from Sark, but I think there may have been some conflation that like, oh, he didn't talk about it with the team at all. He did talk about it with the team, and guys like Hero Canoe and even like Parker Livingstone and Emmett Mosley spoke about it after the Mississippi State game that was brought up, and they pointed to the CAA statement, like just to protect his team, as Sark has said. So this isn't the first.
This is a good example. No. This is actually a good example because Justin's saying, "Hey, why didn't Eric report that it wasn't addressed?" He did report it. See, what happens is someone will post something and it's not true and it's not accurate, and then it just takes on kind of a life of itself. And it's almost like the public wants the negativity to be true because it's more interesting. But it's not. It's not real life. None of it's real. And yeah, Eric never reported that it wasn't reported. Like that's not true. So that's kind of what you have to deal with in athletics these days. And with social media, it just everything becomes emphasized.
Yeah. Trying to look at, what else he talks about. It kind of hits a lot of the high notes of these types of speeches, the whole like, oh, I've got roots here. I've got this here. And that is all true. One of Sark's sons is on the team. His daughter's at the law school, as he mentioned. And Sark has talked about how he likes Austin. Like, it's a place where, I don't know if he said this or I can say this, but like, he likes being able to wear his cowboy boots on the sidewalk. Just being able to have that like mix of the Texas culture, but also the city life. I think he's actually put out like, I like some concrete is what he talks about. And he, when you see these things, they hit all the high notes. Like this is my home. This is where I like to be. Hits all the achievements. And I do like that he comes out and says like, you know what? Call Chris Del Conte and get the record straight. And Ian, like, aside from being a direct refutation of whatever Desmond Howard was talking about, what else kind of really stands out to you from this?
I wonder how I think Sark is working hard to get everybody focused on these last 2 games of the season, because the Georgia game was such a letdown. I don't know if that's why he made this statement, but I think he's definitely working very hard to try to keep everybody still rowing the boat, as PJ Fleck would say, for these last 2 games. This game in particular, Arkansas, like Texas A&M, you figure Texas is going to get up for Texas A&M because it's going to be a huge game almost regardless of even if Texas wins this week or not. But Arkansas is always tricky because Arkansas always comes to war in this game. And Texas does not always come to war against Arkansas. Does that stand out to you? Or do you have something else, Joe?
No, that definitely does. And I think I didn't really get in this. It's a trap game. Like it's not a trap game. Like none of these are trap games. Like I think if you look at Arkansas and look past the record, you can see that they can score a bunch of dang points. Like you're an SEC team. There is no trap game. They're all good teams. The records may not all be good, but like if you start doing like, oh, it's a trap game, like whatever. I think that's just one of those things where, and then Blake Bryant brings it up, like no point in a trap game coming off a 35-10 ass kicking. Like, yeah, your season's on the line. Like I know a lot of Texas fans are like checked out, given up, season's failure, whatever. Like I don't call things failure until the season's done, but like the ventilator's not unplugged yet. It is a ventilator, but it's not unplugged yet. And if there's anything that like causes this team to just not show up on Saturday, like you mentioned, Ian, like then it's all gone. And 8-4 looks a lot different than what 9-3 could look like. And it's a hell of a whole lot different than what 7-5 could look like. And that would definitely venture into the failure realm. So like this is not only something about the future, but also something about the present, as far as, making sure that the team's ready, not only for this upcoming week and the next week, but just also so that Sark doesn't have to do some crazy ass stuff in the off season, as far as just keeping guys on his roster. I think, Justin, when you made that point about playing, I don't want to say playing defense, but defending the team and telling guys like, I'm not going anywhere, quit reaching out to places hypothetically. I think that was the main point of something like this. And also, hey, sometimes Sark's pretty respectful for the media, but when someone he doesn't even like cite, like you'll even see people just, say, I'm hearing from sources, and it's serious people, like whatever you want to say about Rossini, whatever, but like this isn't Desmond Howard's lane, and he left it. And I think
not even close to Desmond Howard's lane, but this is kind of Desmond Howard-ish.
Yeah.
He's known to, really say real stupid stuff.
So
it's one of those things. They're 7-3. They're number 17 in the country. It's not in bad shape. But if they're 9-1 or 8-2, we're not having this conversation. We're just not. Desmond Howard, I don't know if he pops off on Twitter otherwise. I don't know what his motivation is. I just know in the social media era, college athletics is wild, and how one rumor and people take it and run with it can affect people. They can affect their jobs, can affect outcomes. Just something we have to pay attention to.
Before we keep going, got to show some love to Academy. The holiday season is here, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has the legendary gifts you need at undefeatable prices every day. Shop in-store or online at academy.com to save on gifts on everybody's list, from football jerseys and basketball hoops to fire pits and deer stands. Most wonderful time of the year happens here, so this Christmas, give the gift of fun from Academy Sports and Outdoors. And those $100 turkey fryer. Yeah, I think I'll be a little bit interested in that. Last night we usually start.
Go ahead. Before you
Go
pivot,
ahead.
I have a question for you guys, real quick. Let's say Texas wins out and goes 9-3, and misses the playoffs because there's too many 10-2 teams stacked ahead of them. Is that a failure of a season? Is the season a failure if Texas goes 9-3 and misses the playoffs?
No.
There's a massive difference.
9-3 is a failure. No.
There's a massive difference between failure and falling short of expectations. And people who say falling short of expectations, I mean, it's a C. There's a difference between a C plus and an F.
Okay, so is it a C plus or is it an F?
No, it's a D minus.
So let's say it's pass.
I think it's a C minus.
Let's say it's pass or fail. Is the pass or fail bar making the playoffs?
Yeah.
Probably.
So then it's a fail.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I also so here's my perspective on this type of thing. I've covered a lot of Texas baseball, and I watch a lot of different fans say they didn't make Omaha fail.
Yeah.
That's kind of instructs me, and I'm like, there are only 8 teams. It's tough to do that.
Uh-huh.
But the playoffs, I don't like the binary question, but it's not really I can't argue against it. So yeah,
I think I would be with you, Justin, in saying having a 9-3 as a down year, where you in this hypothetical beat both your rivals. That does not feel like a down. That feels like a pretty acceptable down year. But the mitigating factor is that Texas has an NIL payroll that is safely in the top 12.
Yes.
And that's the thing that makes it tough, is that if your expenditures are as high as Texas's are, and then you still can't crack that top 12, which is not exactly fair because they got to let in all these other teams, right? But I don't know. That makes it tough. I think if they go 9-3 though, and they beat A&M and Arkansas, I'm going to say that's not. Although you hate to waste a year of Arch Manning. I don't know. I'm going to go back and forth on this for months if it's relevant.
That's some off-season and content right there. And also, they didn't pay $40 million. I love how people just throw numbers out. Hey, let's just pick a number off the wall and just say, hey, that's what Texas paid.
Yeah,
life doesn't work that way.
Warby's and Raising Cane's doesn't count towards Texas's expenditures.
Nope.
Maybe 40 million is how much Texas's players make in total, everything all together, but that's not.
It ain't NIL though.
That's not all out of it. That's not the Texas budget. Yeah.
Yeah, not from the Texas sphere. I think that's what you're trying to.
God, no. That's almost double. I mean, look, it's like that rumor that the first day it's bad, the second day it's worse, the third day it's the end of the world. That's kind of how this thing is taking its course.
So it's
38 million. No, guys, you can keep making up numbers all you want. This calculator ain't calculating.
I'm the binary of pass or fail on a 12-game season's. It's a tough equation, but yeah, I know why the question's coming, and then
when you're preseason number 1, it's going to appear as a failure. Simple as that. And Sark can make the case, well, that's not our fault. We didn't want to be preseason number 1, or we didn't build that up. It doesn't work that way, brother. You're at Texas. Yeah. you build a monster, you got to play like a monster.
So let me get the one thing we normally do to
more in the 20 range, Sandman. More in the 20 range.
One of the things we do during these lives every Thursday. Go over the injury report real fast. Justin, you've already reported Anthony Hill not expected to play this game. Still listed as questionable, kind of the standard choice for Texas when they do stuff like that. Yeah. Ryan Wingo is probable. Looks about right. If this is if it kind of sticks this way throughout the week, may not see zero out there this week. What about in the future for the A&M game?
Yeah, his goal is to get back for A&M and understand this. He wanted to play this weekend. If you gave Anthony Hill the choice to play, he wants to play this weekend. This was a Texas decision and a family decision. The kid's got a lot of different ailments right now. It's not just a broken hand, and he needs this time to heal. You want him to be better for the next game against A&M, but he's missing this one. He really does want to play in this game, but they are trending it towards him coming back for the A&M game. With Ryan Wingo, I would actually put Wingo kind of in the questionable one as well. He's still dealing with a hand injury. But he's definitely one that I could see playing Saturday. So we'll see how that kind of transpires. But Anthony Hill, is intending on playing against A&M. They want to give him another week and a half to see kind of where he can get. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. And then looking at the other side, the Arkansas side, Jaylen Brown's good. He hadn't played that much this year, though. Very fast receiver. I don't know if Shaq McCoy is a starter or not. Braylon Russell, I think he got some run last week, and part of Arkansas, pretty good offense. So him being,
I think they've scored 30 plus in every game except last week where they lost to LSU by 26-24, something like that.
Yeah,
Bobby Petrino is finding deficiencies in their opponents. They may not be stopping people, but they are scoring.
Yeah, they score about 28, but they give up about 32 per game. You definitely want Anthony Hill out there, but if not, Trey Moore, Ty Anthony Smith, those guys better be ready to go.
Ty Anthony Smith, maybe some Brad Spence. Yeah,
those guys should be ready to go. Couple questions. I think this is kind of a good place to look at. Josh says it's honestly good that A&M, OU, and Tech are likely to make the playoff while Texas won't. It should force some angst and change on the 40 acres. Ian, you have a maize and blue reference for this one, at least over the past couple of years.
Gosh.
Maybe scarlet and gray as a result of maize and blue.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for spoon feeding me that one. I was not following it all. Ohio State definitely took it up a notch after losing 4 times in a row to Michigan. And Michigan took it up a notch after however many it took, 13 consecutive losses. They lit a fire under Jim Harbaugh, which was a double-edged sword because they awoke in a just frenzied, crazy Harbaugh that delivered 3 Big Ten championships and a national championship, and then gutted the program and left with all the top coaches. So, probably worth it.
I thought I was going to see Ian go 6-7.
Oh, man. No, the Harbaugh thing was like, look, we don't want to fire you, but we want you to do better. So here's our contractual threats that they just made as far as changing the whole structure of his contract. And yeah, there is some stallions to it that shows the we're not going to take no for an answer type thing.
If you don't have a Connor Stallions in your program, every program in the country, what are you doing?
One thing about the Michigan deal, though, as far as I can tell, that is maybe different from how Texas sometimes does things, is that they reduced Harbaugh's salary and they changed his buyout terms that put a lot of pressure on him. But then he went and hired Harbaugh guys. He went and hired a bunch of dudes from like the Ravens staff and from other places, and he like leaned even more into Harbaugh ball. Whereas Texas, I feel like sometimes wants to dictate to the coach what the changes are historically. Like, I mean, Mac Brown was always dealing with stuff like that, right? Sometimes whenever I hear about the changes that have been dictated historically, I'll be like, well, that kind of makes sense though. But as far as I can tell, with Michigan, they put pressure on him, but then he got to call the shots. And I don't know if head coaches having things dictated to them that are outside of the coach's vision, it works as well, you know?
Harbaugh also had more cachet than any other head coach could possibly obtain, except for Saban, probably. Like, he was one of Michigan's greats as a football player. Like, and he left the NFL and Super Bowl opportunities to go coach at Michigan. Like, they wanted it to work. You know, they were frustrated that it wasn't, but they wanted it to work. And so that's why, and to Sark's credit, like, he's probably got some cachet, but I don't know if he's got that same Harbaugh at Michigan cachet. And it's different. It's different.
Harbaugh also like froze out some of the Michigan donors. Like, you notice how their NIL has gone up since Harbaugh left? Like, Harbaugh like froze out some dudes and was like, I don't care. I don't want you. I don't need you. I'll take a 3-star with a little less money and I'll turn him into an NFL player.
And he can do that.
He can do that. Harbaugh is a unique man. There's only so many guys like that in coaching at one time.
I'll also say, like, for Michigan, it was, let's keep these 5th and 6th round picks for another year. Whereas that's not what Texas is working with. Like, there are talented players, but it's not like they're looking at their starting guards with extra years of eligibility and they're like, no, we'll bump up and keep you for one more year for this run.
I wonder how much of that too is that, like, if you take 5 stars and you get them with big paydays, they're going to look to follow that same process on their way out too. Whereas if you take low 4 stars, high 3 stars, and you turn them into NFL players, you have some cachet and rapport where they may feel like they owe you something. They're less mercenary. That probably, I mean, I'm just spitballing, but I would wonder if that would help in getting guys to come back. It's like, why would Anthony Hill come back?
Right. No reason.
Right? No reason. None.
Yeah.
That would be negligent.
Yeah.
Like it's that when Mac Brown basically told Vince, buddy, you got to go.
Yeah.
You would hope Sark would look Anthony in the eyes and say, thank you for the 3 years that you gave me, brother. Go start chapter 2. That's what you do.
Yeah, and good coaches do that, and Sark does that. Like, he's done that with plenty of players. Go through a couple questions we got. I would consider trying to talk to Urban Meyer into taking over for Sark. He was a failure in the NFL, but at all stops in college, he was great.
Oh, handful or handless of a female.
The last college job he had was 2018, and a lot of things.
Didn't he leave on health purposes?
No, that was Florida in 2009.
Ohio State was also health related.
Yeah. Remember, he had a.
Or he hired a guy that was like a sex trafficker or something.
No, I don't think that one. He had a.
No, it was just, didn't one of his coaches have like an issue with sex toys and stuff?
Yeah, Zach Smith. But right. there was different. Different,
but the same.
I would love for Texas to get the next Urban Meyer. Feels like Texas always wants to do. Texas is always trying to find like the Urban Meyer from Florida to Ohio State, and never ever gets the Florida from Utah to Florida. Never ever gets their Meyer. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
At that stage in their career when they're really. I mean, I guess they tried with Herman. I guess Herman was that.
That in theory, that was Herman.
Yeah, but I'd like to see them try that again. Not with Herman, but with someone that's like on the way up.
10.8. I think if you have a better O-line, you can do it with Sark.
10.8 million must be reduced if Sark doesn't win out.
Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way. They signed the contract. Texas can say, "Hey, we would like to renegotiate," and then Steve's can say, "No." And then can kind of go back to what his job was. Like if coaches did this every year, then
they wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
there would be stipulations in contracts, so they wouldn't allow them to do it.
Now I will say, and I was scrolling through something not completely different, a very different situation where Venables took a $1 million pay cut entering this season, and that money was redirected into the roster. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I wonder if that's something that's talked about.
No.
Not done, not present, but just talked about,
Venables was in a much different situation.
Correct. Like, this is still
and give him credit. Give Brick credit what he's done with it this year. Give him credit.
Still a good Texas program too. Like,
yeah,
that's why I don't like that binary of failure. Where if you go 9-3 and beat 3 top 10 teams, but you don't make the playoff, like, it's hard for me to say failure. But I can get what the argument was.
You know that political cartoon of like the kid in bed, and then there's like a soldier like this, just like taking arrows and flames to protect the child. We need to make a meme of that where the soldier is Tate Sandell. The Oklahoma kicker. That dude is standing in between Oklahoma and the abyss this season. Like, there's no way they beat Tennessee or Alabama without that guy drilling like 70-yard field goals or whatever that was. That guy has been. He put us in New York. If they win,
he picked up the team because he was the footsteps.
Yeah, you get the one path of footsteps is Tate Sandell. That's pretty good.
Hey guys, I don't think you remember how valuable Anthony Farah was in 2013.
He's an All-American.
Anthony Farah, if you don't have Anthony Farah, Mike Brown doesn't go to a bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how valuable he was. So I completely understand the Tate Sandell love. You got to have a guy like that.
Anthony Farah was like the last. He may have been the only All-American on that team.
I think the defensive tackle Malcolm Brown
that was next year.
That was the next year.
Yeah.
Running back Malcolm Brown had a good year, but he wasn't on that level. That was the year I think they lost to Oregon in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah, to Mariota before.
To Mariota, who was a junior at the time. Yeah. D'Anthony Thomas was wearing a gold Rolex running down the sideline.
And then I had this one from let me see if I can find it. It was from AJ. How good is it that A&M is making the playoffs? It's always a good thing if A&M is as bad as can be. We might be able to tolerate OU because it helps conference strength, but never Texas A&M. This was kind of what I was speaking to earlier. Like, this is going to boost A&M, but this is also going to motivate Texas to be like, hold on a minute. Like, and the strange thing is that this is very rare for both Texas and Texas A&M to be in a similar spot in the sport. Like, usually one is really good, and then one is 8-4, and then in the 90s it kind of flipped, and in the 80s it flipped. Like, you rarely see both these teams in true contention for, at least in this era of football. Like, you rarely see these teams both at a similar level.
That's why I think last year's game was so much fun.
We've seen them both suck. We've seen plenty of that.
Yes. That has happened a lot. But, like, even going back, like, I think I was looking it up last year. Well, A&M was like I forget what they were, but the fact that it was winning into the SEC championship, that just showed that both were at a level where both were contending on the highest level, and that just normally isn't something that happens. So, I bet this is a motivator, just like it was a motivator for A&M to see Texas go and make it to 2 straight college football playoffs and win their conference and come into the SEC in year 1 and do something that A&M hadn't done. I'm sure that motivated A&M to not only get rid of Jimbo, but try to make a program that looks a lot different than the one Jimbo did. So, like,
did y'all hear what Mike Elko said Monday talking about, like chaos and adversity? I loved it. He said, when we're kicking butt and doing really, really well, I have to be the opposite. I have to be looking for landmines. I have to be looking, okay, what can we get better? What can we finish? But when we're not playing well, when we're crashing like that first half against South Carolina, I have to be the opposite. I got to be positive. I got to feed them what they need to be fed to turn the thing around. I absolutely loved what Elko said about that. And it just goes to show how good of a football coach he is. Like, he's always been a great football coach. And now he's finally got himself in a position where he can make that known.
Yeah. Before we keep going, got to show some love to our sponsor. That is Andre the Lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
All right, Ian, we talked a little bit about how, Arkansas gets up for this game. Petrino talked about it a little bit this week, and he had a good story. He said it when I'll try to do it in his voice. The first time I was head coach at Arkansas, they had like an Arkansas fantasy camp, whatever that is. And he said the former players that came back would talk more about the losses to Texas than the wins over Texas. And as lopsided as this game has been throughout its entire history, since the year 2000, it's been lopsided the other direction. And a lot of that has to do with just the overall care from Fayetteville that isn't reflected in Texas.
Yeah, Texas has, you play Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Like, what did Sark said? Like, you can really prioritize 4 games a year. Is that what he said? That you treat like next level. They chose Georgia, which was right. But it's hard to have.
I'll be right back, Joe.
It's hard to have the same focus for Arkansas. But Arkansas, they can load up for Texas. This is like everybody. There was a thought that in the SEC, Texas wouldn't face so many teams that have like a jihad against Texas. But there's still a few. Mm-hmm. And when Texas is successful, you go to back-to-back playoffs. You go to the SEC championship game. Now you're a bullseye for lots of teams.
Yeah.
Right? Like Georgia felt like they always have, feels like they always have a little something extra for Texas. They treat that game very seriously. So you end up with this imbalance deal, and you got to be able to overcome it.
So we've talked about this Arkansas team this year, and Sark has talked about, just their offense. What has made them they were a team that really, and I know you go into the Arkansas defense first, but just real quick, this is a team that portaled an offensive line, and it didn't really work last year, but it seems to have worked a little bit this year. What are some other things that have helped before we dive into that defense? What are some of the things that's helped the offense this year, Ian?
Well, the offensive line is portaled, but also most of the main skill talents, like the deep threat tight end Rohan Jones is from Montana State. The running back Mike Washington's from New Mexico State. Omega 13 is from Charlotte. Mm-hmm. Defense has got a lot of transfers as well. That has not gone as well as it has on offense. But they've got this scheme. It's built around the particular abilities of Talon Green. And then they just load it up with proven G5 guys that fit with him, which is a really good way to do offense in college.
Yeah.
Texas was better when they leaned more into that than trying to develop guys from underclassmen ranks that were blue chips. So it's easier to outsource the development and then just plug in skill sets that make sense. So they got that going.
We'll flip it back over to the Arkansas defense real quick. And this has been the reason Arkansas is 2-8 or whatever they are. This is why Arkansas has been fire their coach bad, is because they just can't stop people. Yet they do have some pieces that are pretty darn good. Do you see maybe this ragtag Arkansas staff deploying a type of defense that Texas has struggled with in the flyover, or do you think they'll try to play it conventionally?
they kind of cleaned house on defense, and I don't know if Petrino left anybody behind that still has the knowledge of how to run the flyover. And Petrino strikes me as the kind of guy that's like defense, just like try to keep them in front of you, and I got this on offense. That seems like the kind of coach Petrino is. So I think it's possible that Arkansas will have abandoned the ability to play the flyover or other gimmicky strategies that always give Sark fits. And that's very good for Texas. But never say no, like you can never put anything past the Razorbacks in this game. So I'm not counting on that, but that's my suspicion, is that they don't have that bullet in the chamber anymore, and they'll try to win with offense.
So we'll flip it back over to the offense, and then Justin, I'm just kind of curious. This Talon Green is a DFW product. He goes to Boise State. I don't know what he did up there. It's hard to remember.
He did a little. No, he did. He shot. He had a spark up there. He really did. And then makes the move. He was always just a big athlete at Louisville. That was just quietly kind of created himself a niche in the college game. Always was kind of a playmaker. Not the best passer, but not a bad passer. And really just a big athlete. When he gets running downhill, guys, like, he's tough to tackle. And so he's just a big drink of water. He shined a little bit at Boise State, was able to cash that in on some NIL at Arkansas. And now he's hoping to have a good enough season this year to potentially weave his way onto an NFL roster. I'm not sure if it'll be a quarterback, if it would be like a wildcat type deal, but he's got NFL ability with no doubt. He has definitely got NFL ability. I just don't know exactly at what position it would be.
Ian, one of the things that Green, I think he's their second leading rusher, and with good reason. Like, they put the ball in his hands, I think, like 35 times a game at least. And part of the reason why he runs the ball so much is there are a couple big run schemes that they focus in on with Petrino and him.
Yeah, they run kind of the full gamut of gun option schemes. Everybody calls it read option. I hate that.
It's not a read.
It's like a double It's like the.
That's what options are.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
It's an option.
I like gun option because it tells you, I think, more about what they're up to. But they have so many different varieties of schemes. So, like, if you play a team that runs some zone read, you can set your defense in ways where the rules are always consistent based on where the running back is or whatever, and you can make it simpler to stop them. You can load up. We're going to load up in a way where zone read won't hurt us, right? You can't do that with Arkansas because they also run power read, which works very differently. They run like speed option on the perimeter. They run sweep read. Everything that you've seen Texas run every once in a while for Arch that always goes poorly.
Yeah.
Looks like they never actually practiced it.
Yep.
Arkansas runs all that, and they actually practice it, and they're good at all of it. And so it makes it tricky to, especially if you're a 4-down defense, it's really hard to set your fronts in a way that are like optimized for everything that they can do.
Kind of looking at, do you think this could be a 3-down game for Texas? Like, run some true 3-4?
Yeah. Or they also will play 3-down and just slide Ethan Burke inside and play and they'll play that Todd Orlando type 3-down. They do it a lot against this for the last 2 years. This has been a big part of how Texas has defended Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt is also a super varied run option team, right? And the benefit of when you play 3-down, so you have like a tackle who plays as like a 4-eye on the top, and you have the Jack Burke, or maybe
Jackson.
You could play Watson there. You could play who'd you just say?
Lance Jackson.
Lance Jackson is up for that. He's strong. Umio Zulo can probably do it. You play those guys inside, and then that makes it very, very simple for the Buck and the Mike, which is probably going to be Trey Moore. You turn the Mike linebacker position into a little more of a space edge containment position. And then they have very simple rules every down. If you're the outside linebackers, you keep the ball inside. If you're the inside linebacker or the safety, you're playing inside out. And so you really simplify the option rules. And you're like, we're just going to clog the interior and contain it outside with these big, fast linebackers. And that's worked super well against Vanderbilt. When Vanderbilt has hurt Texas, it was throwing the ball. They've really struggled to run their option game against Texas. Last year, they did not do this against Arkansas. They ran 4-down defense, and they had big problems with the option stuff. Like the linebackers and the edges would not get on the same page. Saw that against Georgia last week too. So we could see them just switch to this, keep it simple, and say, Arkansas, we're going to keep our linebackers on the perimeter in containment mode the entire game. If you're going to beat us, you're going to need those G5 transfers to go down Main Street on Hero Canoe and Travis Shaw and Cole Brevard. And I think that's as long as you don't let their tight ends run wide open down the field, I think that should work pretty good if they do that.
Yeah, and I think we've seen PK really handle just
he's good with the option guys.
Yeah, like I mean, Gunnar Stockton. That's being part of the team where there are a lot of different. Gunnar Stockton's a strategy where like there are so many different things on that team that you have to deal with. Him being probably the third or fourth priority, whereas Taylon Green kind of is the start of everything on this team.
Yes.
So you can shift your focuses a little bit.
That's 100% right. Although I would say that the two zone ready plays that Georgia burned Texas on were both kind of obvious by formation. So
yeah. The one I showed above, this is kind of a lead zone read play.
Yeah.
Where quarterback Q right here is reading J.
Yeah.
If J doesn't go forward, hands it off. You hope your boundary safety comes down. If J does go forward, you hope that your Mike linebacker and then your Will and then your free safety are able to make some plays. What's going on this one when they're maybe going more towards the boundary? This is more power read, correct?
Yeah. So you just have the same rule every time, which is the edge or out, or the buck or the Mike are containing. So the buck contains, the quarterback has to keep, and then he has to go downhill into the muck and mire. And that's it's a little blue truck reference. Are you there yet, Joe, with your little girl?
Not yet.
Not yet. That's really tough. Like that angle on the tackle is a difficult block. The weak side linebacker is going to run to the spot. The strong safety is going to run to the spot. You get numbers at the point of attack. You can stuff these option schemes if you set rules where it's like, we're always going to make them do this. And then we're going to know they're doing that. We're going to have our guys overplaying the predetermined read that we're going to predetermine for them. When the option teams kill you when you start getting out of alignment and people lose track of who goes where. And then they just crease you hitting gaps that just get left undefended. If you actually make option teams block you and break tackles, they're usually like, they go way down because what they're used to doing is confusing you and getting you out of alignment. It's not like it's almost finesse, right?
Right.
And so that's like number one is like, can we just actually fit the right spots? If we do that, we're going to have an amazing chance to stop any option team.
Yeah. Justin, anything else on this before we get to a SEC slate that looks a little bit different than what we're used to?
It's going to be a high-scoring game in Austin Saturday.
I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it. Like I'm telling you, there's going to be points in this game.
This is one of those things where you doubt Bobby Petrino at your own risk. And, if there's one guy for a lot of people have the motorcycle incident, and he's kind of
he likes blondes.
He's someone with a past that's not very sterling, but dude can call ball. And that's the goal this week.
Let's go through the SEC after we come back from this break.
You go ahead and drink that Gatorade. We already hit our breaks.
You hit both of them?
Yeah, we hit both of them.
Let's go through the SEC. This is my favorite part of the show.
This is fun. It's SoCon Saturday of a
Good
sort.
point, real quick. Justin Wells made another excellent point. All right.
Oh, man. SoCon Saturday. So, fun thing here, Jimbo Fisher went to Samford. And so I wonder if this was a game that was scheduled when he was –
That's hilarious.
when he was there.
Aren't they honoring Jimbo?
I hope so.
Oh, yes. Probably with a plaque that says, hey, if you come back to Samford, this is the national championship. We're just going to etch the numbers on it for you.
I think he's with ACC Network now. So somebody's going to try it again with him.
Oh, yeah. Somebody tried it again with Dana Holgerson. Of course they're going to try it again with Jimbo. There's a lot of guys that got second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chances.
I'm really
Petrino.
Who it is.
Petrino's coaching. Texas is going against one of them on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm really curious who says, you know what, I think Jimbo still got it. So FCS games with FBS opponents don't have betting lines. So that's why you don't see that. Missouri at Oklahoma. There's some scuttle that Bo Pribula could play, but I don't think it makes a difference. I think it makes a difference, but not to what the final result will be.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, Zollers is going to be really good one day. It's just not today. And Oklahoma's defense is playing at a very high level.
I think Missouri can run the ball on them.
They can run the ball on everybody, Ian. It's like they pick and choose when they do it.
I think if they can go from – because, wasn't the consensus that they could have absolutely beat A&M if they had gotten anything?
They had over 200 yards rushing in the first half against A&M and stopped running the ball. And
they got like 30. Well, I'm sure A&M loaded the box, and they Missouri threw for like 42 yards or something, absolute garbage.
Something like that. It was definitely an adjustment. But, buddy, whoo.
Yeah, so I wonder if that could be – I still can't believe Oklahoma is going to finish the year with 10 wins.
It's tough. I'm with you on that one.
I think that they will drop one of these games that you would think they should win.
Especially with John Thumb.
I wonder – I think if Pribula plays, this could be a real game. If not, it'll be like 28-10. That's not even close.
I don't know if Oklahoma's going to score 28, but I'm with you.
The defense and Tate Sandell will score.
Tate Sandell, yeah.
They'll score 25 or I don't know.
7 field goals is happening, man.
Charlotte, Georgia, whatever.
Yeah, that's
Eastern Illinois at Alabama. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Mercer at Auburn.
Mercer, listen to me. Hear me
out. The Bears.
Hear me out. Mercer is good. And they have a really good young quarterback who I could see being a portal darling in the offseason.
Really?
Mercer, you better watch. You better watch yourself with Mercer. And Auburn is the type of team, like Auburn's defensive front is about as good as any team in the SEC. But once they get down, they'll quit. And so watch Mercer.
I think they're an FCS playoff team. I don't know how good they are. They're not a Dakota. They're not a Montana.
Right. I think this is one of their first big years, possibly.
Gosh, it'd be hilarious, though. It would take a lot of shine off of DJ Durkin real fast, which I didn't know you could do more of. Kentucky at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt still alive in the playoff race.
A rivalry, kind of, in a sense?
No.
Maybe they
Kentucky
tried.
and Tennessee is one, but it's kind of one-sided in the direction it goes. Similar to Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Kentucky is playing better, but I don't know if they're better than Vanderbilt.
That's a good way of putting it. Vanderbilt's really good at home. Like that I think they use that as their advantage a lot. And Pavia, they're headed towards. They're going to try. They want 10 wins as well. They want to finish this season in the top 10 if possible. I don't know if it's going to happen, but Vanderbilt, I like Vandy.
I think Kentucky goes all out for this one because if they can get to 7-5, that's a lot better season than I think a lot of people anticipated before the year.
Yeah.
It's just another Kentucky football year,
Basically.
Yeah.
Another year that Mark Stoops cashes those checks and snaps necks.
Arkansas at Texas, 9-point line. What do y'all think of that one?
I don't like that line at all. Not at all.
I think Texas can cover 9.
No.
I get it because
You do.
they're like Texas is going to score 30 on this terrible defense. And then to cover that, you just need to hold Arkansas to 20, right?
29.
It's totally it's really easy to get down on a team and then they come back home. And then it's just like, oh, they get some home cooking. And like we've seen this with Texas a bunch of times where they seem like they're like the Vanderbilt game.
This could be 38-28.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll agree with that.
And that would, there's your 9 right there.
Right. Would you get the key here is what prop bets the SEC, those refs have on Saturday. That's your biggest thing.
Man.
We saw that against Vanderbilt. That thing switched quickly.
That was, yeah.
But once they hit their prop, it went back to normal.
I guess every officiating crew has penalties over on Texas. Coastal Carolina at South Carolina.
Sawyer Gorham Welch, buddy.
Tim
boy
Beck.
is starting D-tackle there.
Tim Beck still there.
Tim Beck still there. I think Derek Wareheim might still be there.
I think I'm trying to look. It's Tim Beck. It's Wareheim. I think John Bonney may have been on staff.
John Bonney. I'd heard him. Navar was there. I think he's somewhere else now.
He's at Arizona. All right. Let me see if there's some Tyron Carrier. It's a name we know. Derek Wareheim, offensive line.
We know Tyron very well. One of the best underrated wide receiver coaches in the country.
Trying to see if there's any other familiar names. Grayson McCall is actually an analyst there. So he hung up the cleats and picked up a headset.
I like seeing Tim Beck do his thing there. He got railroaded by Herman. I like Coach Beck.
I don't know how good his team is, though. So
it is what it is.
I think
they compete. They're competitive.
24 on the hook. The hook scares me, but the 24 doesn't. Tennessee at Florida. Did y'all know apparently Tennessee has not won in the swamp in over 2 decades?
What, Steve Spurrier tell you that?
No, I just was listening to like one of the national preview podcasts, and despite everything that's happened with Florida, with Tennessee, like they just have not won in Gainesville.
That's very strange.
It is, but it isn't. I guess it is in the last 10 years.
They're both in the East, so they've gotten a lot of chances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you go from the end of what's his name? The guy who actually won the title in 98, Fulmer, to Lane to Butch to Pruitt. Like,
how about the guy they hired and then Twitter decided to fire?
Greg Schiano. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. The last win in Gainesville for Tennessee was 2003, which is nuts. The fact that it's just not gone the Volunteers' way.
Was that Todd Helton?
Not in 03.
Not 03. He was playing first baseman for the Rockies by that time.
That's still Fulmer, wasn't it?
Yes.
At the very end. Well,
yes.
That was an ugly thing.
And I look at Winspedia, and they actually won 2 straight in Gainesville. They won it in 2001, and that's the game that gave Texas a path to a Rose Bowl beatdown against Miami if they had beaten Colorado. So,
I do remember that. Yeah. You brought that up.
Wow. Looks like did I have the wrong line on the Texas game? I may have. Let me see. No, I see it as
I got
9.
it. Because when we build these how to watches, we don't mess up the numbers and we don't mess that stuff up. Where it's at and the lines, we're usually pretty on point on that stuff.
Yeah, that was
usually.
9.
Sometimes it moves. Hey, I wrote up one of these things on Tuesday, and the line jumped the second time I refreshed the site. So, yeah.
Tennessee, does a Texas? Oh, actually, no. Florida winning helps Texas.
In a sense.
I mean, if you're looking for the littlest of edges, a 5-7 Florida is better than a 4-8 Florida, So I would definitely take that. Western Kentucky at LSU. Anything?
No.
Hold on. I think I need to see
in Baton Rouge.
I need to see who Western Kentucky's quarterback is, because for a second,
is it TJ Finley?
I think it was.
Oh yeah, it was at one point. It's not now. I don't think it is again. Finley's played at like 7 different places, and then Western Kentucky.
No, it's Maverick McIver.
I loved him in high school.
Yeah,
and then Tech just sort of like brushed him off. I loved him in high school. He was a gamer.
Ellis. Okay, so Western Kentucky, it's a Conference USA team. They're 8-2. They're 6-1 in Conference USA. Their losses are to Toledo and then FIU.
If this is earlier in the day, Joe, I see where you're going with it. But at night, it's just something different.
This could be a sneaky cover for Western Kentucky. And then we'll learn a little bit.
See what the beard thinks.
22 is a lot of points.
22 is a lot of points.
Can Nussmeier score that much?
No, because Van Buren started.
Van Buren's the guy now, right?
Yeah.
I like Van Buren.
Yeah. That was a good portal
spark last year when they came to Texas.
That was a good portal pickup for them.
It was.
But yeah. Basically not going to learn a whole lot this week, except maybe Ole Miss actually, no, you're not going to learn much of anything this week, because
remember there was something came out right after the Texas-Georgia game. They won't know the SEC championship guys, the 2 teams, until after this weekend.
Yeah.
That close.
Because none of these teams are playing conference games.
Yeah, remember it's
Georgia's
done. They call it Cupcake Saturday or something.
Yeah, SoCon Saturday. So Texas is iced out of the SEC championship game, as we know, but we'll see who actually ends up in heading to Atlanta. So
I think it's going to be A&M, and I think it's going to be A&M in Alabama, because I think Georgia Tech's going to get Georgia.
I would love to see that.
Dude, they did it last year. They can do it again.
I don't think so.
That game will have stakes.
You're gonna doubt King Haynes. Have you not learned anything in the 7 years I've taught you about him?
The Pick King.
The Pick King, brother. You got to watch football on Saturdays.
That's what we called him at Texas A&M.
No,
He's a different player now.
It's completely like.
Yeah, he doesn't. Now he just runs.
Ian, what's on the deep dive later today?
We are going to preview Texas A&M. Go over. Sorry, not Texas A&M. Although I did sneak in a little bit of A&M prep in that. Arkansas, mostly just talking their offense and how they have shredded people. And then a little bit of a look at the Arkansas defense clip.
There we go.
Always a good watch.
Tune in at noon. We'll also have a reaction to Steve Sarkisian's Zoom, and I think Cord and Company.
How do we think this is going to go, Joe? Is this going to be a little bit different tenor? I'm curious what his mood's going to be today.
I don't know what else he can say.
I agree.
So
I think it'll be interesting, and that's why you need to tune in.
Do we want to hit this random Justin Wales question?
Which one?
Where is it? Where?
It's about Dakota and Montana.
Oh, yeah.
Power dynamics.
Yeah.
Ian, can you talk about why South Dakota, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State, those are the elite FCS schools. You would expect the Southeast to still dominate that level. How do they get kids to go to North Dakota?
Any Southeast school that cares about football competes at a higher level than FCS. FCS gets dominated by these schools like Dakotas and Montanas. That's it. FCS football, it's not like high school football is that big there because the communities are not that big. There's not that many people there. So it's just football, and it's just FCS football. There's no NFL teams, no higher level college teams, not even a G5 team, right? So it's like you get like a Permian Mojo football effect where it's like, this is it for Odessa. Permian football this is it.
Yeah.
And then when James Madison was at the FCS level and they started taking football seriously, James Madison was a fixture in the later rounds of the playoffs, but then they leveled up. So there's just, yeah.
The thing for
also, they're a tough breed of kid up there. I think that should be noted. If you're playing in those conditions and doing that on a day-to-day, week-to-week, year-to-year basis, like that's a tough-minded person.
It's an under-recruited region.
I agree.
Because it's rural and it's super white, and it's like, are you really going to go and visit all the small schools and farms to try to figure out which kids? It's like,
Joe, but didn't the fastest kid in the country come from there 2 years ago?
Gatlin Bear, the Mormon kid from like Boise.
Was it Idaho, which I kind of put up in that category either too, but right. The fastest kid in the country 2 years ago.
I think he may still be on his mission. One thing also is that being old and staying old is really important. And I think there's the right amount of NIL at these Dakota schools to where they don't leave and then they play as juniors and seniors and they're good. And juniors and seniors playing, it helps you upcycle against a lot of these different teams to where, there may be more volatility at lower levels. And again, like you said, like we talked about Mercer, like they probably don't care a whole lot about football. And then you think about, well, why aren't the Texas teams doing well? Well, UIW does. They're in a little bit different situation, but like all the Texas teams that are good at football, they eventually want to get to D1. They don't want to stay in FCS.
Houston State.
Yeah, like
they were a fixture too in the final.
Well, and there's been a few national champions in the last few years coming out of those schools.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So it's
and if you go even a little bit down, a little bit more in D3, there's some really good Texas D3 schools.
Yeah. So it's just kind of, if you care, you're going to try to compete at the highest level. And, if you're at North Dakota, what conference are you joining? That's part of it. And then all your advantages just go away like that, just for a paycheck. And sometimes winning's a little bit more important.
Man, North Dakota in the Pac-12. Man.
In the
MAC. Texas State's going to the Pac-12. We can throw pretty much whoever we want in there.
They probably got some Cody Campbell types around that program.
In Dakota?
What? They set the bench for 4 years, made it big on buying oil low, and now just throws it in the trash? Yeah, probably.
May work.
They got fracking is huge in North Dakota.
Yeah.
There's a new gas shell. It's because there's a new gas shell they've dug into.
There have been job surpluses in the Dakotas, if I remember right. So despite everything that's happened in the economy in the past 10 years. Anyway, speaking of, come join Inside Texas. We are something that you can always afford. $1 for the first week. You're going to want to come be a part of the best Texas Longhorns community. Come check out everything we've got, not only for the Arkansas game, but also for A&M down the road in the rest of the off season. So Justin, Ian, thank you all so much.
Real quick, Justin Wells was right. I was wrong. Eric did write that on a deal. I want to admit that. He was right. And also, I might change my name to Jacob as an homage to Justin Wells. Tip your cap, brother. Good job.
I think Eric was talking about the specific weekend.
He was. It wasn't, and that was 3 days before that game, because remember Halloween fell on that Friday, and I think that was a 28th article. But it was discussed later on. But Justin's point was valid, and I wanted to give him credit.
So, all right, we'll see y'all next time on IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.